You're listening to the Superpower Up Podcast with your superpower experts. This is the place where we explore real-life superpowers and give you the tools to unlock your own.
Hello, everyone. This is Tonya Dawn Recla, your superpower expert, and you are in for a treat today. Not only do I absolutely positively love this man, as you will as soon as you hear him talk, I'm sure, but he's just amazing. I love that we're having him on the show so that he can share his brilliance and wisdom with you all. And he's got an amazingly big mission that he's embarking on. And I'm excited that superpower experts can support him in that vision. So we're going to be talking today with Ed Oakley about we can change the world synergistically. So that's kind of a big deal, right? We're saying, yeah, sure, it can be done. And I think he's just the man to help us do that. He co-wrote the book Enlightened Leadership, which is a collaboration model, presents a collaboration model, and is arguably one of the first ones that did that. He also mentors people whose success has taken a midlife detour, right? So we're talking about some of these pivots that so many of you have experienced and are sitting there going, what the heck just happened here, right? Well, he's the guy to talk to about that. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming to the show, Ed Oakley. Hello, Ed.
Hello. I'll give myself a hand.
You should. You should. I love it. I'm so glad to be sharing this time and space with you. I mean, we do this often, but it's like now everybody else gets to listen in, right?
Well, it's my honor. Yes. To be listening is great. Yes.
Oh, perfect. Well, let's start right in with you telling us what are your superpowers?
Well, my superpowers are to take all the things we've been working on for years. We've worked on beliefs. We've worked on emotions. We've worked on raising our level of connection with source higher and higher and so forth. My superpower is taking all of those, crunch it into a simple process that takes less than a minute, really a daily process that wipes out the emotions, replaces the limiting beliefs, and takes your level of connection through the roof. And when you do that, guess who you are? You're the person you came here to be. Right? Your brightness shines, you're clear, you're able to focus, you know what your mission is, it comes through loud and clear, and you're the person you came here to be to make the difference you came here to make. That's it.
Oh, well, that's it. Yeah. I mean, simple, right? It is simple.
Yeah.
And so incredibly powerful. So, I know you and I have talked about this a lot, but you call that work clearing, or what? How do you refer to it to people?
I tend to say clearing, but if you think about it, it's really the clearing part is just the emotions. It's reprogramming beliefs, and it also is raising the vibration or level of connection with source as well. So they're really three different things.
Perfect. And so your story is really fascinating. Like, how did you embrace the fact that this is what you were going to do?
Well, I lived a good life 5 years ago and, had the pleasure of developing leaders in 67 different countries and done a lot of traveling and fun stuff with family and friends and clients. And I got really sick. And in other words, here comes the universal 2x4. I had managed to ignore all the wake-up calls, the little smaller ones. And so the universe had to bring me a big one. And I was really, really sick and wasn't sure I wanted to stay on the planet. And I had a mystical experience, Tonya, in which I was shown the life that I'd already had, and that it could leave, it'd be easy to leave, it'd make it easy for me. Or I was just surrounded by heavenly beings, by the way. Or there's this other picture that showed that I would be, what I would learn in the process of healing myself, what I would learn would help a lot more people on the planet than the 53,000 leaders I developed so far. So I guess you can figure out which door I picked.
Well, and absolutely, we're the ones that are benefiting from this, especially given this new project. First of all, I want to dive further into your story, but I also want to introduce what I alluded to in the beginning, which is this idea that you've had, or inspiration to kind of lead this world peace movement, right? Truly, really have an impact in a powerful way, synergistically. Let's share with the listeners what exactly we mean by that.
Well, I'll share the synergistic piece, then I want to come back and share with you what guided me to the world peace movement. But the synergistic piece is what happened is in my healing process, I was guided to very specific things to do to replace limiting beliefs and enhance empowering beliefs. And I was guided to something else to do to wipe out the debilitating emotions and enhance the empowering ones. And then I was guided to how to shift my level of connection with source. And it's sort of like that order that last piece came last. And it was when that last piece came in that all of a sudden I was incredibly empowered, energized, creative, focused, motivated, like I hadn't been in many years, and was guided to go away and write a book. In 5 days, I wrote a book about the experience, 120-page book. And I don't care what kind of writer you are. That's really fast. I've written books in 5 years and 5 months, but never in 5 days. And at the end of that 5 days, that night I went to bed exhausted, but really feeling good. And at 2:00 a.m. on that digital clock in Keystone, Colorado, I woke up wide awake knowing something had happened. I had been spontaneously healed of the autoimmune disease that I had, which turned out to be gluten intolerance. 2 days later, I had the best pizza I've ever had in my life. And next day I had a milkshake, and I haven't had any issue with that whatsoever.
Wow, what a powerful story.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a quick break because when we come back, I really want to talk about this mission and stuff that we alluded to, like how it came about. I love everything you're talking about. And I want to share with the listeners what some of my experiences have been with you and why I'm so excited about the work that you do in the world. I think it's crucial. So we've been talking with Ed Oakley today about we can change the world synergistically. Oh, before we do, Ed, where can people go to find out more about you?
I would go to, there are two places. One is the Facebook group, Ignite World Peace. Ignite World Peace is an open Facebook group. Please join us. And the other place is lifesnewgame.com. Lifesnewgame.com.
Perfect. Well, we will be back right after a quick break. Stay with us, and we're going to learn all about how you can help ignite world peace. Stay with us.
Are you here to change the world? Do you talk about things like vibration, frequency, awakening, and consciousness? Are you pretty sure you have superpowers? The Superpower Net is unlike normal coaching programs and conscious communities. We provide training, intuitive guidance, peer-to-peer learning, intensive one-on-one coaching, and a high vibrational network of people just like you. When you join the net, you get 24/7 access to a collaborative group of people who support you as you master your personal power and unlock your superpowers. If you're ready to use your superpowers to change the world, then join the Superpower Net today. Visit superpowerexperts.com/the-net to learn more.
Awesome. We're back. You've been listening to the Superpower Up podcast. Today we're talking with Ed Oakley about we can change the world synergistically. So Ed, we kind of dangled last time, right before the break. We put a little teaser out there telling people about this world peace mission and how they can ignite it. Not only that, but I think that it's obvious that there's a connection between, what impacts the world and what impacts us personally. And that's a big part of your story. So talk with us a little bit about this idea about impacting world peace.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to give credit where it's due. A friend of mine, Dr. Mark Tong, is a spiritual healer in St. Petersburg, Florida, has a great reputation for being associated with healing quite a bit of stage 4 cancer. And he and I are collaborating. And in the process of collaborating a few weeks ago, I handed him my simple Enlightened transformation process, which is basically a prayer for what we want. And I said, go play with it, spend a couple of weeks with it. And he did. And from time to time during the 2 weeks, he'd send me a text and he said, wow, this is really good. And here's an idea and so forth. After about 2 weeks, he called me and he said, Ed, we need to talk. You have an opportunity. He said, this could impact the world. You could impact world peace with this process. And here's why. And this is me talking now. Here's why. World peace starts where, Tonya?
I think we know. We have to start with ourselves, right?
Absolutely. It's all in the hearts of the people on the planet. And so if we could impact, 1 billion people on the planet, just make up a number, and to come from to get to a peaceful state in their own lives, that would have a huge impact on world peace. And so what Mark noticed, he said, Ed, you're using this and you're calling out an individual when you're doing, say, a clearing process, we'll just call it that. And we know it works. You also know it works when you've got 100 people on a list and you call out the list. He said, then there's no reason why you couldn't just say anybody in the world that is ready to receive this blessing. And I have to be honest with you. After we talked about this a little bit, I said, well, you're right, because that's how it was designed. When I had that mystical experience, I told these beings, these heavenly beings, I said, look, I like your plan for me. There's just one thing. I don't want office hours. So everything I've done in the last 5 years to develop and perfect this, the dozens and dozens of times it's been improved and improved and improved, has been oriented so that it just works without me having to have office hours, nor the people who are certified to use it. They don't have to have office hours. So let's see. So where am I? So that we know that it'll work for a lot of people. Now, so the next thing I asked, I said, Mark, but how are we going to monetize this? And he said, Ed, this is a magical question. He said, is God your partner? Whoa.
That's like gut level check.
Oh, yeah. Now, this is interesting. I tested, because I'm really good at energy measurement. So I tested, is God my partner? And I got at the core level, absolutely, I believe that. But at the genetic level, there was a few percentage points of doubt. And at the core level, which gets more into past lives, there was a few more points of question. So an interesting thing happened. When I cleared those other two, that God is my partner, I completely let go. And I said, all right, we're going to give this process away. And my target is 20,000 people. And imagine 20,000 people reading a process that's affecting the rest of the world. And 20,000 people are doing that at the same time over a 30-day period of time.
That's a mouthful, Ed. I'm not going to lie. Like that's awesome. I love it. And I love the fact that it came about in the synergy between two of you. I'm a big believer in the idea of, where two or more of you gather in my name, there also will I be. And I've witnessed it happen energetically. There's so much power when we come together with each other in collaboration. Yes. And so, of course, this would be birthed between two of you. I think that any projects moving forward, that's just how it's going to be, especially ones that stand to have a huge impact. And I think it greatly increases their chances of success.
Well,
so
Tonya, I want you to look at your side of this too. As we've spent time together over the last few months, from time to time, you've planted seeds that absolutely impacted the effectiveness of the process.
Beautiful.
And you're not only one. Other people have too. And so this is very much a collaborative process.
I love it. Well, and I think that's if we're really honest with ourselves, isn't that how everything works? Like, we think it's ours, or we think that we're the ones doing it, or we think that we're alone and stuff. But it's like, I can't even remember the last time I really felt that way. Like the synergy is undeniable. And so it's like, well, why not just use it? like if it's there and it's happening anyway, why not use it? And the flip side of that is true also. And I want to stay true to my word. Part of the reason I'm so excited to have you on the show and to have your energy even further embedded into everything that we're doing is because I truly stand behind your work and I've seen the impact. And, I love being a guinea pig for your new processes and stuff and your courage in stretching yourself. And, there's been times when I've presented information to you and you're like, But what's so beautiful about you is that you sit with it. It's not like you don't drink the Kool-Aid just because it's there, and but you also don't resist it either. Like it's such a beautiful relationship that you have with your own evolution. It's been such a delight to watch and observe and participate in. A lot of just the magic that you do. You've worked wonders for Justin and Neva and I in the collaborative space, in the attunement space. We all have I don't like calling them blind spots because I do think that they guide us to that synergy. I don't like the concept of blind spots from the perspective that there's a deficiency that we can't in and of ourselves address, but that when we choose to come together, so they kind of lead us and guide us to the people who can help us as we come together synergistically to create an even more expanded kind of energy field for all of us that we can tap into. And so I don't look at them as, well, we can't address things in and of ourselves, but there was stuff that you were able to do and hold a container for our family unit in the same way that people can hold containers for, a single client. You were able to do that with the three of us. And we saw huge shifts we shared with you. Neva gave a keynote at 8 years old in front of 2,000 plus people in November. Like there was random stuff that occurred that it's like, sure, perhaps, she would have, I can't even say that in good faith. I was going to say, sure, perhaps she would have gotten there on her own, but no, absolutely not. We had to create the environment. We had to be willing to step in that space with her. We had to give her those tools. And I know that energetically, a lot of the work that you've done have opened doors that we can't even see in our humanness, Well, and so I do stand behind that.
And you can imagine too that I've been having the same breakthroughs all along. I mean, 2 years ago I thought, well, it couldn't be much more than this. And probably every week since then, there's been another breakthrough. And you mentioned the word collaboration. I've had a strong sense for a while now that collaboration was really important. But I did a test, and I really trust my energy measurement. I did a test to see, well, how effective is collaboration versus competition today? I could not get my energy measurement device, which happens to be a pendulum, to say that competition had any value. Literally,
interesting.
Not 100% on collaboration, and I think that had to happen. In fact, I know it had to happen. And once again, Dr. Mark Tong actually is the one that challenged me on collaboration. A year and a half ago, we chatted about collaboration, but it never happened. And honestly, I thought he was the issue. I thought, well, I want to collaborate, but he doesn't really want to collaborate. When I tested our collaboration, and I got that he was ideal collaboration at the core level, the genetic level, and the history level. And I got that I was not on any of those. And it was only when I cleared all three of those to be, I'll just call it 100% collaboration, did I actually took the piece of paper in my hand, which represents 5 years of work that is my process, and I just handed it to Mark Tong. And I said, hey, go play with it, use it, do your thing. Let's talk about it later. See, I mean, that's...
Wow, what an act of trust there. Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things I love so much about you is you've never shied away from saying, this is a place where I'm limited, or this is something that I'm working on clearing, or every time I talk to you, like, okay, well, I just did this other clearing on me, or I just did this reading and all this stuff came forward. Like, and I contend that it's your willingness to take those deep, hard looks inside yourself that have allowed for the success that you've experienced.
Well, I agree with you, but I got to say that it took a lot of clearing to get to that point. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Right?
Isn't that true?
we can talk about being receptive to all this stuff all day long, but until people have actually had a clear to a certain level of how do I say it? Really clarity, a certain level of purity and clarity of who they really are, and with a very, very substantial connection with Source, they're not going to buy into some of this.
I agree, and isn't that kind of the conundrum? Because it's like you have to get to a place where you're even able to see that you need assistance or that you might be deficient in a certain way. So it's this ongoing cycle. And I think a big part of it is right now is like what we're doing, and it's calling it out and saying, hey, this isn't okay. I remember when I made the decision to cure myself, if you will, of sarcasm. I had a spiritual teacher who challenged me on it. I'm extremely, extremely intelligent person and very quick-witted, and prided myself on sarcasm. And I had like I said, this spiritual teacher say that all sarcasm is toxic, and it's all low frequency. And I was like, what? No. And so over the next few weeks, like I sat there and argued with him, and then I challenged myself. I was like, okay, I'm going to find examples to prove my point. And I couldn't do it. Every single time it was like, wow. And when I attuned myself to what was happening, I was able to feel the drop in frequency every single time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can't abide by this anymore. If knowing that, I can't do it. And so it was, there was about a week of time where I didn't even know what to say. Mm-hmm. I couldn't speak. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like it's so embedded in my lexicon that it's like, wow, and I had to take a hard look at it. But it wasn't until somebody had the courage to step up and say, this isn't okay. Mm. And he was so gentle about it. He was like, well, sure, but you're going to keep creating this from that place. And it was like, well, that's not acceptable. Like I don't want that. And so I think that this is the same way. It's like, if we're not willing to look at ourselves and be receptive to that, that's fine. You don't have to, but understand that the projection, your version of reality, is only going to go so far, and you're going to keep producing more of the same. And if you're okay with the consequences of that, then continue doing what you're doing. But don't come here, don't come and say that, you want to change the world and you want to have this impact, and you're not willing to do that part of it, because it's impossible. You cannot. And I think that it's time to kind of call that out.
So I got an interesting thing that popped up for maybe how to maybe challenge the listeners of this.
Cool, let's do it.
A little bit. Okay, so I asked them this: if you knew that reading a 1-minute process once a day for 30 days would transform your life, and it doesn't cost you anything but that 1 minute, would you do it? Well, everybody's going to say yes, but I'm not. I'm not doing it.
You're setting them up.
So, suppose you just thought it might possibly impact your life. Would you spend a minute a day for 30 days to give it a chance? Hopefully you'll say yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, like, okay, all right, sure.
And just suppose you thought, well, maybe it's slim probability, but just maybe this actually might, because I'm reading it, and when I read it, it's not only affecting me, but it is aimed at the rest of the planet, of anyone who's receptive to it. Just maybe it could impact the peace of a lot of people in the world, and therefore impact the peace of the world. would it be worth spending a minute a day doing that for 30 days? And that's what we're asking people to do.
I love it. I love it. So if they join up with the Facebook group, are they going to be able to get information about that and details and everything else?
Yes, we'll be moving forward there, posting more and more. I'm just started it this week. So
beautiful.
It only has a few hundred people in it, that kind of thing. We'd like to see it grow to at least 20,000 people, and like people to share and send their friends, whatever you have to do in Facebook. I'm not a Facebook pro, but I think there's some probably out there.
Perfect. Well, and by the time this airs, I think we'll have been able to get some real momentum behind that, and there should be some deep information about exactly how to participate in the actual movement.
Good point.
I love that. Well, very cool. Let's remind them again of where they can go for that.
Well, it's the Facebook group Ignite. That's IGNITE. Ignite World Peace. And you can always friend me at Oakley as well. Ed Oakley like the sunglasses.
Perfect. I love it. I love you. I love everything you stand for and what you do. You're such a delight and so much fun.
I love you and your family. You're wonderful. And it was a real blessing to have you come into my life.
Oh, so sweet. Well, thank you. And we will continue to support what you're doing and unabashedly promote you as much as we can. So thank you.
Thank you.
To all of you out there, as always, we appreciate your loyalty. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, go out, uncover your superpowers, and change the world. Take care, everyone.
Are you ready to discover your superpowers? Go now to superpowerexperts.com and discover your superpowers today.